Hi, parents. I thought at this time it would be helpful to review what the Google Classroom looks like, how it's organized, and how you can check your students' work, especially if your children are learning remotely. It's important that you check their assignments each day. And I know I created a video already, but I am creating another one just to remind you and also to show you how I've reorganized the classwork just a little bit so it's easier to navigate. So that's the stream where your children sign in every day. And I've got the useful information with login information, our slideshows from the beginning of the year for back to school. I have everything organized by date. You'll see, and then I have a star next to the today's day because I'm trying to make it easier to look at and find things. So the star means that's the day we're working on. So I'm not going to look at Wednesdays. I'm going to look at Tuesdays because it's complete. So there was morning work. Your children have to do morning work after they sign in every day. Usually it's a video to either review or preview a lesson. So they need to open that up and actually watch the video and click submit. This person already submitted it. That's great. So that's done. But they do need to click submit so I know that they've watched it. I also can get on the website and check and make sure they viewed it. These are just really helpful. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to Tuesday. To helping your students understand the concepts, especially when they're working from home. They have a little less instructional time, so that serves as part of the instruction. So those videos are important. I choose them purposefully. Every day, then we have a Zoom meeting. Here is the invitation. I also have the morning meeting where I go over the schedule for the day and I work in a language arts lesson, whether it's a phonics skill, oftentimes a grammar skill. So those morning meetings are also instructional and they're followed by a language arts lesson. They're worked right into that morning meeting. Then we have the language arts assignments that are independent. I number them in order that they should be doing their work, and the links are included at the bottom. Again, I do recommend that they view the assignment in a full screen because any attachments will be up here with their names for them to click on and complete and turn in, and then come back here and submit. So the links are here, the directions are here. Please make sure that they read everything over. It's really helpful if you read it over with them if they're getting confused about assignments. I try to make the wording as sparse as possible so that way you know that everything that's included is important. So this is for their break and snack and read aloud. I try to keep them, as you see, every minute is accounted for, even if it's a break. It's really good for them to keep on that schedule, especially for children who are trying to do this pretty independently. And at that time, I also have a read aloud. The read aloud is instructional also. I model reading strategies. They're working on listening comprehension. I model decoding using context clues. Again, this is not just for enjoyment, although it's always fun to be read to. There is oftentimes a comment for them to reply to. Here is drawing conclusions, and they are supposed to put a comment about a conclusion that they drew because this is a mystery, and we draw conclusions when we solve mysteries. So we go back, and we'll go back to Tuesday again. So again, everything that I include has an instructional purpose. This is just the Zoom link for our math and science lessons. I'm shooting for a half an hour. The morning meeting and lesson is more like 45 because I combine. I'm trying to make this one about a half hour. And because of that, everything else in here, again, has an instructional purpose or practice with a skill. For math, again, there's independent work. It's listed in order. There are often links. Here's notes that they had to copy in their notebooks. And every day this week, I'm having them get on Prodigy. It's not just playing. Those games are actually serve as a pre-assessment so I can determine where students are with math skills. So please make sure your child does that for at least 20 minutes every day because it's a pretty long assessment and I want it to be useful. So I go back again to Tuesday. After math, they're actually kind of officially dismissed from our in-person student schedule. So everyone should have lunch, recess, and their special, and I list what special it is for the day. And then they have homework to do. The remote students also have small group meetings. That's because during the day, I'm meeting with those in-person students more, and I'm trying to make up that time. It will either be in small group settings or individual. I'm still working on making sure each student gets what they need. So next week, I should have a more set schedule for the afternoon where some days there'll be small groups, some days they'll be individual. The homework this week is to read every week, every day. They should be reading 20 minutes. It's so important. And then they need to do something to kind of be accountable for their reading. And so I can keep track of what they're reading. This week, it's a Flipgrid video where they share a connection. Most of the students have done that. There are a number of students who haven't. Please make sure your children are doing that. That is their responsibility. And I'm kind of counting on you to make sure they do it. And practicing their facts. Super important, for your children to know their basic facts. We're working on doubles this week because they're really important for multiplication. So please make sure they do that homework. I have it there at the end of every day. Okay, so you'll see there's homework at the end of Wednesday tomorrow as well. And as I put assignments in, they'll be there posted as well. Okay, so that's how the classwork is organized. To view your child's work and to make sure they've completed it, if you see assigned, I went over this before, but I'll say it again because it's really important for you to check your students' work, your child's work every night or afternoon, whenever it works for you. Assigned means it's not due yet, so don't sweat it. Turned in, please don't just assume if it's turned in, it's done. Oftentimes students click turned in, but they didn't actually do it. And for example, the Practice Buddy, you're going to want to get on Practice Buddy on that math website and make sure they did it. And you can get on Prodigy and see what they've done. So please make sure that you check when they have clicked turned in that they actually did the assignment, whether it's a document they had to do. Sometimes they have to take a photo, like a photo of their journal. Here's an example, a photo of their journal. You want to make sure they actually did it. You can open it up in a big window. All right. So I would check the dates when they were due and if they were turned in, that they actually did them. I'm really counting on you to do that piece because that way we stay on top of them. Things don't get away from us. So every day, if you would please do that. I'm going to kind of wean them off of those check-ins and wean you off of the check-ins and have you check and just that they've done the assignment. It's my job to make sure it's done well and know to how to instruct them from there. But I'm with having your students remote, and actually always you should be checking any work your students are doing at home, your children are doing at home, just to make sure it's done. You don't have to make sure it's done well, just make sure it's done. All right, I will take care of the rest. All right, thank you so much for watching this long video, but I was hoping that if I took a little time, and thanks for all that you're doing at home. I know this is a super stressful time. I appreciate all you're doing for your children to make sure that they are successful.